Welcome to Pixel Pickers, the podcast for players picking the pixels that pack a punch. I'm Jarvis.
And I'm Josh.
Hey, how's it going this week? Has it all been Death Stranding, or has something else happened in your gaming life since then?
No, it's it's. I mean, technically, I beat Resident Evil 4 on my Switch, but that's like
Okay, yeah,
I play a chapter or two a night, and I can burn through that game with my eyes closed at this point. But yeah, it's
yeah,
been
yeah.
all Death Stranding. I'm about 70 hours. That's
Yeah, I'm pretty close behind you, and I will say I have a lot of idle time in the game. Like I'm at 60 hours. I'm gonna say at least 8 of those are probably idle time of me just leaving the menu open and walking away and to do something else in the house.
No, all
But
70 of mine have been
yeah,
hard work. Like I'm working on 5-star and everybody right now. It's
yeah, yeah,
yeah, I'm going for the platinum because once I get all the 5 stars, I'm basically there. It's only probably
yeah.
20 more
It's
hours.
very achievable.
Yeah, still haven't figured out how to dig
It's
a
not
hot
bad, and
spring
it's
though.
no, I haven't. I haven't come across anything like that. I don't think we're gonna venture into any spoilers with Death Stranding 2, especially not story wise at all. But keep in mind if you are very sensitive or anything like that. If we mention that a special type of gun pops up or anything while we're discussing it in the next couple of months, well, I'm just gonna warn you now, it might happen. So,
Yeah, I mean,
fair warning for very soft spoilers.
I think most of the items uh are things they showed in the trailer, except like one thing really.
Yeah, yeah. And
What?
even then, it's not like we're going to be going into great detail with everything we're going to be talking about, how to do secret quest lines and unlock stuff, because I think you would agree that a lot of the fun of Death Stranding 2 has just been figuring things out or having the little surprises come to you.
Yeah,
It's
oh,
not
yeah,
like the game is a great big mystery or anything.
yeah. It's like, oh, that's cool. And
Yeah, exactly.
you haven't got through. So I've beat it, and for 70 hours, and I would hope
Yes.
I've beat it. You haven't. Uh,
No.
you haven't got to where it gets like actual crazy. The ending of this
No,
game goes
I've gotten.
bonkers.
Yeah, like, I haven't gotten into the final act, which is going to do some wild, wild Kojima stuff. It's, the open and the end, he has to, bring out all of the fireworks, but especially for the finale.
Yeah, the finale.
Um,
I'll just tell you, the finale's unfucking hinged. But
yeah, I have no doubt.
I wanted to circle back to like where I said like you've seen if you've watched Death Stranding 2 trailers, you've seen a lot of the weapons and stuff. It's a lot of your
Yeah.
normal guns, but like about 80% of the things you saw in the trailers are all from like the last 3 hours of the game. It's
Not story stuff though.
yes. a lot
Mm,
a
I
lot of it.
I will break it down. I will go through that trailer and say that I have seen almost everything in the trailers, because I didn't watch the trailers until right before I played the game. So I will say nothing I've seen in the game has been like, or everything I've seen has been something that I've already seen, unless it was, one of those cool little secret things.
I don't know. I
Um
felt like a lot of the things I was seeing up until like the last like hour to 45 minutes were like, oh, I've seen all this, but with no context. Let me rephrase. Like you don't have
huh.
you like there's a lot of things that you will see, including a whole ass scene that you've already seen. Not you I mean maybe you personally, but like if you watch like Summer Game Fest, the Game Awards and stuff, like there are whole entire scenes. I'm like,
Oh, yeah, if you're talking about, like, the long Luca scene and stuff, I
mm-hmm.
don't think that would surprise anybody to know that, that takes place very close to the end, if you played the first game, given that that's kind of how they let it unfold with, Mads Mikkelsen's character, and he's kind of the foil for him in this.
Yeah, at some point, I think we should do a like. I know it sounds crazy because it just came out, like a Death Stranding like re-review now that we've beat it. Because
Oh,
like now I've had time to like really process a lot of it, and I think that
yeah,
first review was just like emotions from us. Like that wasn't a review; that
but
was just
also
emotionally venting.
I just want to be able to go like full spoilers on it, like just fully label it as, hey, this is what we're going to be doing. This is what we're going to be talking about, and not like talk about things in like veiled ways or anything. Like, obviously, we can talk offline, but I think it would be really interesting to kind of get it out and get those thoughts on for the podcast and, see what we have to say when it's just like we can talk about everything, fully unhinged, because the game is fully unhinged.
You don't know the half of it.
But the performances, I have to say, like they just keep getting better, and a lot of subtlety in them. And yeah, I love the game. I'm completely enamored with it still. Story wise, it just gets better and better. Gameplay wise, they keep giving you more fun toys, right when you think that, like, okay, this is probably like the relative end of my arsenal. No, you just keep getting stuff, and the more you help out people, the cooler things you get, and the game just constantly rewards you for being a good dude. And I love that it kind of sticks to that mission statement.
Yeah,
Really dope.
it's so you and I play it kind of similarly, like where we go and like we're not trying to 5-star as we go along, but maybe
No.
3 to 4. Like
Yes.
you're going back and forth between places sometimes. You're not always just like main quest grinding, I would assume.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah,
our
same.
friend and logo designer of the Pixel Pickers, Regina, I was talking with her. She's also beat it. Huge Death Stranding fan. She was
Yeah.
just like 2-starring everything to get to the next story beat. And I was talking to her, I was
Oh,
like,
that's
yeah, and I
crazy.
used this thing. She's like, what do you mean? What is that thing? I'm like, what do you mean? What is that thing? Like, she didn't even know, like, she's like, I think I found this one place. I'm like, that's not what that is. That's just a place. And she's like, oh, I thought it like spoiler for the first game, you can find Higgs hideout in the first game. She thought she found Higgs hideout because she couldn't get in there. I'm like, no, you just didn't deliver any packages to it, so you never unlocked it. Like there are some crazy upgrades in this game, and I was like, yeah, you can like upgrade your
Oh, yeah.
roads so you can like go faster, and they shade you from the rain. She's like,
Yep.
you could upgrade your roads. I was like, yeah, you can.
Go faster, shade you from the rain, auto drive. Like, there's so much. And so much, like, as you are playing the game, that the game customizes and tailors to the way that you are playing the game, which is really cool.
Right. But for those of you who read the episode title, this is not the Death Stranding 2 Glaze Factory. This is not what this episode's about, even though it'll be a little bit about that.
No, that is what this podcast is about, but not this episode
So,
in particular.
probably for a good portion of this year, it will be about that. And then when we circle back around Game of the Year time, it's going to be a
Yeah.
the Glaze Factory will be open for business, baby.
Yep.
But this is our
Absolutely.
Game of the Year so far podcast. We are officially in July, which means we are over halfway through the year. So video
Woo.
games have come out. A whole new console has come out that I almost bought the other day. I was at Best Buy.
Oh, you were
I
close?
had to get a new TV because my TV of 11 years died on me. So I got me a nice 4K
What a
OLED
shame.
screen for the living room now. Very nice. I like it a lot. And they're like, we have
That
Switch
is
2s in
nice.
stock at the Best Buy. And I was like, I I could get one. I could get one right now. Your whole screen's gone red.
Is it good now?
Yes.
Okay.
That was terrifying.
Sounds good.
Look, I played too much Death Stranding. You would fuck with me
I
right
was
there.
gonna say, you can't deal with like rapid color changes right now.
No, I cannot. Or ever. My ADHD brain will just like fucking. So yeah,
Goes right out. It's like, what is this?
exactly. I got I don't even know what I was talking about now.
Yeah.
New TV, yeah. So I got a new TV, and they had, Best Buy was like, "Hey, we have Switch 2s in stocks." So I went there, and I went to the display. Like, it felt honestly gave me a real big hit of nostalgia, like playing the display console, sitting there
Yeah.
like you would do in like the Target or Walmart, or if you were real G playing like Smash Bros in the McDonald's back in the day.
Yeah.
Did they do that where you're from? I don't know if that was a world like a
Yeah.
nationwide thing. Yeah. That was the only time I'd ever played
Yeah.
an N64 in my life until I was like 14 because I didn't have one.
Um, yeah, I don't remember it like many times, and maybe even I kind of remember it. Did Burger King ever do it?
I'm not sure. I
I
know
don't
McDonald's did because I don't know how long they
Yeah.
were supposed to be there, but there was one in my hometown that had that motherfucking N64 in there until it like got taken out by a tornado in like 2010. That N64 stayed there
Damn.
and only played Smash for like as
That's
long
so
as I
good.
could remember. So that's the like, I always say that my first Smash was the newest one. I can't remember. It's called Ultimate, I think. Yeah,
Yeah.
but technically, I've like touched Smash at a McDonald's, and like that, like it was the
Yeah.
original Smash on N64 to Ultimate. But man, they had
Yeah, you
two.
flirted with
Yeah,
Smash.
I smelled the roses a little bit.
Yeah, you
I
used a
tested.
bit in the 90s.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. But there was two Switch 2s there, and I thought about, cause you're like, why two? I'm like, well, my wife wants one because she really wants that Tamagotchi life when it comes out, and to play her Switch games because her Switch Lite has stick drift, which fun
Oh,
fact you can't
no.
fucking fix. So it's a dead console
Yeah.
basically. I mean, they were both there, and I was like, but I already just dropped $1,000 and some change on a nice
On the
TV.
TV.
But like,
Return the TV.
I thought,
It's like having two smaller, better TVs because it's TVs that let you play Mario.
yeah, but I really need that TV because we needed to finish a television show because the TV literally died while we were mid episode of something, like right when it was getting
Oh,
good.
damn. Yeah.
So it was very upsetting. So literally the next
Wait, is
day,
that your recommendation for the week?
it's one of my possible recommendations.
Okay. All right. Then I won't ask you to reveal what television show it was right now. Otherwise, I was going to ask you to.
Yeah, I think it's one you might have recommended if I remember correctly. I can't remember.
Yeah. We shall see.
Not on the podcast, but to
But
me
now is not the time to
offline.
walk about recommendations.
Yeah. Long story short, I didn't get the Switch 2, but man, I thought about it. I thought about it so hard. Like
Nice.
I was just like sitting there while they were like getting TV. I'm like, I could just do it. You know,
Yeah.
like I don't spend a lot of money. Like video games are what I spend my money on, and I don't,
Right. Right.
with Game
It's not
Pass
like you're
and other
buying every
things.
release.
Yeah, and I'm not buying every release. It's like, $60
Yeah.
maybe every 2-3 months, or 70 nowadays. Or if Death Stranding is about 200, that's like an
Oh,
anomaly.
$80. You know,
Yeah, and
back in my day,
that
we
was
saved up for the things we wanted, kids.
back in my day.
Says fucking millionaire president of Gearbox.
Back in my day, we would we would take our whole collection of video games that we had, and we would give them for the GameStop for pennies. And then we would
Yeah,
then
this is true.
take that $10 of in-store credit for all of our old games, and then we would get the deal of a lifetime by buying.
Exactly. You'd get it within striking distance of your own poor income.
God, the amount of regret I have, like as an adult, think
Oh,
about the
yeah.
games I traded away, like my original like copies of all my Resident Evils, my original Metal Gears. Like the only original Metal Gear game I have on that shelf behind me is my original Metal Gear Solid 1. That's the only one I never got rid of. But like my old
That's rough.
MGS2, 3, I still have my original 4.
Yeah.
Like all my old Resident Evil games I don't have anymore. And it's like my old
Yep.
Onimusha. I had Onimusha Dawn of Dreams, which is now an expensive ass a disc to get, or a couple discs to get. So much
And the
regret.
worst part is thinking about all the shit games that you traded these things in.
Oh
for,
my
too, you know?
God.
Like, that's the worst part.
Oh.
The weighing of the scales of, video game Anubis when you put up like, let's say Resident Evil 4, like an original, let's say GameCube copy, and you're like, all right, now I'm going to get
Yeah,
fuck,
you can't.
what's the worst
You can't even.
possible?
I bought Duke Nukem Forever at a GameStop.
Oh, that's got to be it.
Yeah.
It has to be.
Look,
I mean, because even No Man's Sky was a pretty good joke for a while, but No Man's Sky kind of rules now. So
Yeah,
it's
I
got to
mean,
be Duke Nukem
yeah,
Forever still.
that game did not ever come back. Like I have a very distinct memory of, I had, Resident Evil 3 on the PlayStation 1, right? And this is around the
Yeah.
PS3 era. I had gone through and I had beaten this game a couple of times now, and I was like, I'm gonna go trade it in, right? And I took it to
Right.
I took it to GameStop with some other games trading because I'm like, I'm broke. I want to buy a new game. I want to play something on my PS3. And I remember I was like, he was going through it all, and the guy's friend was there, like the worker's friend was there, like talking him up and hanging out and stuff. And the GameStop employee is like, yeah, so Resident Evil 3, like, we're only going to really realistically give you like $1.50 in store credit.
Oh,
And his friend was like,
that's so
literally
painful.
said, don't sell it to him. I'll give you $15 for it right now. And he
Yeah,
he did. And I was like, yeah, easy day. And I was like,
that's a good person.
he's a good person, but like I'm looking back, I'm like that's one of those life lessons you look back, like he was telling me that like of the value of the things I had, and like I just did not
Yeah.
absorb it. Like I
Nope.
shouldn't have gotten rid of
You
that. Like
tried. No.
it's one of those things I always regret. But yeah, this
But
start
I also think there's we've been playing Death Stranding, a game about loss and acceptance of loss, like moving on from things and letting go and literally walking forward. So Josh, sometimes you just got to put those old games behind you and walk forward, and let's talk about those new games you love. Kabam! All right, that's gonna be my segue of the year.
that was
Josh, do you have a better one?
no, yeah, I think that could be segue of the year. Honestly, now that
Okay,
we've
all
put
right.
that competition in, write these segues down. You write these down. We're gonna keep track of these, and we're
It's
gonna
rough.
vote at the end of the year. We're gonna have our segue of the year.
I'm literally already feeling the weight of trying to make a better segue for the next half of the year.
The amount of
This is my Matterhorn.
yeah,
I won't get over this.
the way we're going to interrupt each other viciously to segue just in the middle of a topic because you said something like I got it. So
Wait, I know.
every podcast 20 minutes long, all because we just segued our way through it. It's gonna be 10 minutes
Yeah,
in, and that
twitching for those
segues
alley
into our
oops.
recommendations. But this is our
All
game of the
right.
year so far. About almost 20 minutes in, we like to wax poetic on
It's
nothingness.
not bad. Yeah,
We got there relatively
it
quick.
was a good wax.
We wax
Yeah,
on, wax off, Mr. Miyagi style. So,
exactly.
we talked and we're like, since it's only the halfway point of the year, we're going to do our top 3. And
Yes,
did
reasonable number.
you rank yours at all?
I tried not to. I feel like I have like a definite ranking, and like even when I say the games, I think it kind of there's a clear order of how good they are. But one of my big concerns was also we're gonna have duplicates on these top threes, but I don't think that's a big deal. Well, how do you feel about that?
And that's fine with me. Now, and I've also considered we take our list
Yeah,
since they're both ranked and we use it to make our pixel pickers list. Because let's
yeah,
say I have Death Stranding 2 at 1 and you had it at 3, theoretically, right? And
yeah.
and the list is out of 3, it would get 4
3 and 1
points.
points.
Yeah, it would get
Yeah,
4 points because you know number 1's worth 3, number 3 be worth 1, kind of like that.
boom.
And
I
then
like them rules.
yeah, and that kind of gives us our overall list. You like that idea?
Then at the end, and then at the end of the year, we'll do the same thing with slightly more games, and we'll see if those points end up changing anything.
Yeah.
See if our mid-year points end up tipping something over or not into double game of the year or something like that. Who knows? It's all Calvin Ball. It's great.
It's all fake.
Yep.
All right. So we have our 3 games of the our 3 best games of the year so far, and we also talked about
Yes.
including some honorable mentions. So I think we should lead off with our honorable mentions because I think that gives a
Yeah.
like, oh man, this didn't make it thing. And I will start with my first honorable mention, which is Monster Hunter Wilds, which is
Okay.
a game you and I played a lot of together. We had a lot of fun. It's still getting updates. I think they just had a underwater combat update like last week or something.
They
Uh
did add Lagriacus. Yes, and there's a portion where you fight him underwater. It's just the one monster.
okay, I mean they'll probably add more, I'd
Yeah.
assume. But
Yeah.
that game is, very pretty. It has some performance issues as time went on with like the hub and stuff. That stuff did not run the best. But man, nothing feels better than doing an offset attack in that game. And some of the
Oh yeah.
scripted fights in that game, gorgeous, absolutely beautiful.
Absolutely.
I know. So, uh, we'll probably talk about it more because I think this one will probably be up on your list with how much you loved it.
Yeah, definitely it is.
Okay. So what is one of your honorable mentions?
I'm going to give this one over to a sequel that dropped at the very beginning of the year, and that's going to be Ender Magnolia Bloom in the Mist. That is a sequel to Ender Lily's Quiet of the, or no, Quietus of the Night. Quietus of the Nights. Yeah. Sorry, it's a weird name. I always forget it. But that being said, what we're dealing with is a nice little search action or Metroidvania game. Story wise, we're skirting the lines of a near like. We're kind of talking about someone who's attuning robots and like the ghosts of robots, and they are becoming the souls of your weapons. So you have kind of the symphony of the night feel there, obviously just with it being a Metroidvania, but also with you gathering up these souls of fallen robots. And I just think it is really well designed. The music is absolutely gorgeous. It's like this soft piano score that just cascades into really, really like awesome, momentous boss fight, like pulse pounding boss fight music. And I highly recommend Ender Magnolia. The only reason it's not higher on my list is just because I kind of forgot about it and haven't beaten it yet. But this could even see like a nice big resurgence on my game of the year list at the end of the year, when I do a nice return to it after other games have lost their hold on me. But yeah, Ender Magnolia, Bloomin' and Mist, big fan.
It's
Good honorable mention.
you always think about like, recency bias is like a hella thing when you make lists, like
Yeah,
because it's like so fresh in you. Like Death Stranding is very fresh in us. Like, will it stay in like the top of our list towards the end of the year? I mean, for me, probably
right.
yes, because I loved the first one even when it wasn't a new game. But like, one of those things like, well, like my honorable mention is kind of that same feeling. Like, will people remember this game? And I kind of hope they do towards the end, especially for its art style. And
Yeah.
that game would be South of Midnight for my second honorable mention.
Oh, yeah.
It's
Fun.
a small single player like adventure action game or action adventure game. I said that weird. Uh,
Yes, you did.
it's just about kind of like that Louisiana folklore. And man, that game is gorgeous. It has I love the story and the characters in it. It's just the action part of it has it's nothing really to write home about, but like the platforming in it,
Right.
so it's really fun. I wish they did more with it because it was so like fun to do and nice to look at. But what really brings this game to the like front of my mind when I like think of like my favorite games of the year is just the art style and the story. Like it's got that like stop motion, like storybook animation almost to it, and
Yeah.
just gorgeous and so just fun, just a fun time. It's still on Game Pass. Everyone should
Nice.
play this game, and if it comes to PlayStation, it's a easy recommend, and it's also I consider a budget title. I think it's like a $30, $40 game, and it's fun for
Nice.
like the
And
8 to 12 hours it runs.
8 hours? Yeah,
8 to
that's what I thought I
about I think
remembered
like
you
8 to
saying.
12, something like that, if I remember correctly.
Nice.
Great time. But without further ado, wait, have you done your second honorable mention? Without further
Nope.
ado, Jarvis's second honorable mention.
I'm gonna say the name and then ask if it's going to be on your list. Doom: The Dark Ages.
Not on my list.
Okay. Yeah, I wasn't sure. This is an honorable mention for me. I had a lot of fun with this. I kind of bounced off Eternal the first time I played it, but this one really clicked with me. I like the parry mechanics. And didn't love the story, and some of the other parts of it were just not quite as finely tuned as my personal favorite Doom 2016. But it's still a really, really well paced game and a nice little campaign to go through. I'm eagerly anticipating the expansions, the DLC for that.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, I'm kind of right there with you. My favorite is Eternal because of how just like I think it's one of the best crafted like gameplay wise first person shooters ever made. Just like a perfect dance of gunplay and abilities and that resource management. And this game is just a power fantasy,
Yeah.
which is fine. Like the power fantasy moments
Hmm.
go hard. I think they wanted to focus more on story in this one, they said, and
Which is weird because the story is nothing.
the
It
story,
is just a bunch of setting and him
yeah,
moving from destruction to destruction.
it's kind of like the story
If you
of
can,
PS3 era first person shooters, where it's just like, here's
yes.
a 5-second cutscene where some things happen, but now here's a reason for you to go
Hmm.
do this. And the story is not driving anything. There are I couldn't name a
No.
character from that game at all. I'm trying to think. I'm thinking real hard. King.
Con Maker, or is that
Nope. Yeah,
from Eternal?
that technically from it. The cons are from Eternal. I don't know if Con
But
Maker
yeah, but
was or not.
Maker is in Dark Ages. I think it's the one that's like a Harkonnen, the big chunky boy.
Yeah, he might have been
I
in.
think that's
Yeah,
Con
he might
Maker.
have been in Eternal in like the flashback scenes. I don't remember. But
Oh, see,
again,
I didn't even. Yeah.
yeah, it. But like they said, he totally doesn't matter. They also do boss fights in the game,
No.
and I think the boss fights in that game just are kind of the worst part about it. The bosses don't feel dangerous at all, and a lot of that game, even playing
Yeah.
on Nightmare, uh, does not feel challenging. The parry mechanic is awesome. The guns are all super cool, well designed. I think there are too many guns almost because
I don't think there are too many guns. I think it's actually I think it's kind of the same amount of as Eternal. They give you the what 5 ammo types and 2 guns for each, or is it 4 ammo types and 2 guns for each? Something like that.
I think it's eight six types, 2 guns each, but there's like 18 weapons in the game or something, some crazy number or like
Yeah.
that double digit, which sounds good, but like you don't you lose the it's like the variety almost like weakens, I think, the core experience because like I said, there's no wrong choice for a gun at any moment. But
Yeah, and I think that's kind of what they are going for and what you don't want out of it. You want to have from Doom Eternal to have to use your full set all the time. They want you to be able to choose your setup that you want and stick with that.
yeah,
And they will give you all the ammo. Yep.
yeah,
And that is the exact opposite of Doom Eternal, which
yep,
is you have to constantly switch through.
yeah, you do, especially in the higher difficulties. But
Yeah.
it just I never felt incentivized to use a certain weapon. Like there were weapons
No.
I only
And they're not.
used for like
Yeah, but I feel it is a design feature, not a flaw. I feel like they said, "Hey, you can use whichever of these guns you want. We've made them all fun and well balanced." It's more the design of an RPG, let's say, where you have a bunch of different weapon types for your ninja to use, rather than the design of a boomer shooter, which just gives you the strongest version coming at you more and more, typically.
yeah, that's fair.
Eh, Yeah.
I'm not.
And
I
it's
don't like.
very different.
Yeah, that's it.
That-
I don't think
Yeah.
the game's a bad game. I think it's a very good game and it's
No.
a fun time. And if you have
It
any interest,
yeah.
go ahead and play it. If you go in there for lore and story, I'm sorry. I think
No.
somehow
And
the game,
also why?
some
What how did you get to Doom for lore and story?
uh,
Who misled you?
those people that get into games by watching uh the British dude read you like lore in like ASMR voice on YouTube.
Yes, but he does not read you Doom lore,
They
I
do.
believe.
They do now.
Oh
They
no.
read it like those guys who do the Warhammer lore videos or the Elden Ring lore videos because
Boy.
2016 and Eternal have like a lot of lore that's just like in codexes, which this game doesn't have as
But
much of, strangely
I
enough.
guess it is technically lore, but so much of it is all just like literal like messages to other people. Like it's so boring.
I mean,
Yeah, whatever.
isn't that just what
People
most
like
Dark
what they
Souls
like.
lore is? It's just this is what this item description
No.
said.
Yeah, but the item description is ape shit and concerns the fallen star beast that fell 3,000 years ago and cursed the lands between. Like, that's some actual crazy bullshit. This is
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
about Steven who fucked up in the lab and created hell.
I
over
mean,
and over.
yeah, there's it's a lot more than that. It's like
Yeah, the Seeker lore,
the
but the Seeker
makers and
lore is actually the worst part of the game, where it's just like, let's slap in the kind of the story of He-Man and Masters of the Universe from the Kevin Smith Netflix series and
it
just
really
push
is
it in there.
just
Yeah.
like, what if 40K met Masters of the Universe and that was like our story?
And somehow it just doesn't come across story-wise, gameplay-wise, and vibe-wise, it's great.
Oh yeah.
But
Love looking at the
story-wise,
game,
there's
love playing the game.
absolutely nothing. Yeah.
But that's I think it's enough for our honorable mentions, I'd say, and we can start getting
Yeah.
into our lists. Uh so
Yes.
so
Are we going 3, 2, 1 or 1, 2, 3? What's your
I
preference?
think we start at the bottom and work our way up personally.
All right. Sounds good. We're doing it our own way.
Yeah. Yeah, you don't want
Hell
to start
yeah.
at the top. Like you got to work for that
No.
best thing, you know?
Exactly. That's like Lucifer style. Start at the top, fall from grace. No thanks.
Yeah, like
No
you've blown
thanks.
your load already.
Yeah, who does that?
Yeah,
That
who
is an
watches their porn by starting it at the end, you know what I'm saying?
exactly.
All right.
Weirdos. I do know people that have read the ends of books to make sure that they're not like dissatisfying first. And that just seems crazy to me.
That
But
doesn't make sense
yeah,
cuz you don't know the
yeah,
context.
yeah, exactly. Like, and he would admit it. He'd be like, "Yeah, I know," and I'd be like, "Okay, it seems like something I'd like." Okay, sure,
Whatever. Do you paid the money to read the book, I guess.
yeah. Well, no, he would do it before getting the book. Yeah,
See, that's even crazier.
yeah. Anyways,
All right. Do you want to start or should I?
yeah, I'll start. I'll go with my number 3. And it'll just kind of dovetail us in from the other conversation we were having. Monster Hunter Wilds. I love this game. I really love Monster Hunter Wilds. I everything we're going to be talking about since we started this podcast earlier this year is going to be based on a previous conversation we've had. At least all of the games that I'm mentioning have been big points of discussion in all of our episodes.
Yeah, same here.
So Monster Hunter Wilds was a big starter for us, and it was awesome.
I think that was actually like in our first episode was us talking about Monster Hunter Wilds, if I'm
Mhm.
not mistaken, all the way back at
Yes, you are not.
towards the beginning of the year, and here we are, what, 13 episodes in now?
Yes, but here's the thing: the Monster Hunter Wilds episode was the one that never got published.
Oh no, shit, that's right.
Mm-hmm.
It was our
Yeah.
test run.
Yeah,
That
we did a full test run, and the audio came out bad,
yeah,
and we had to figure it out and got it going. But yeah, we did a full episode, like everything, and gave it a good dry run. But yeah, our actual first episode, I think, wound up being Switch 2 predictions, which was a pretty solid launch for us.
yeah, it
But
was fun.
anyways, Monster Hunter Wilds. I loved it. It has definitely helped out in terms of playing the game co-op with you, but I got a good 50 hours of that game and or no, we played early together.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got it probably
I
but yeah, I did most of the game. We did all of like the main quests of the game separately until
like
like the very
like the
end.
last couple high ranks I think we did together.
Exactly. Just for fun too. And that game was so much fun. I absolutely love all of the combat improvements. It is like undoubtedly a lot easier now. Yes, they added a couple of things in title update 1, like the Mizutsune fight has a pretty she's got some good one hitters,
He's fast.
but overall the game is much easier than Wilds or Rise. And that was kind of a letdown.
World or
But I
Rise.
think the yeah, Worlds of Rise. I think overall the thing that makes it easy is the fact that the combat is just so clean and accessible now. It's not actually that the monsters have been, like buff or nerfed or like you have been like super buffed or anything like that. They just made the combat so smooth and accessible to even a layman, so that when someone who's mildly proficient at it, like me or you, comes in and we are able to just dominate the game until, maybe the last fight of the game where it's like, oh yeah, I got a couple of bad hits there when that one move that I could not predict came in and hit me. But like the difficulty of the game is not what I'm there for. Like I would not love Monster Hunter if I lost, my 45-minute fights, one out of every, or I would say like it would probably annoy me if I lost 20% of my fights.
Yeah, 100%. Which is what like
Yeah,
the original games were like. You would die a lot.
exactly.
But I also think what they do and what people think it's so much easier is the whole like main storyline of the game is
Hmm.
literally just an onboarding process. Like it's hey, we
Yes.
assume you've never played a Monster Hunter before, and so
Yep.
all your low rank quests are just
Hmm.
getting you used to thinking like a Monster Hunter player, learning the new systems. As we introduce new monsters, this one moves a little faster. Hey, you might need to rely on your offset
Hmm.
attacks more. Hey, let's start introducing elements into this. So by the time
Yeah.
you get to like the high rank, you know, you or towards the end of
You
low rank, you understand the game as a new player. And I think people think it's easier because it's just explained in the game.
right, exactly.
Is it easier because you have things like the offset counters and you know the hottest thing you can do in a video game with the perfect guard in that game? Whew, man,
Hmm.
nothing goes harder than I learned I could perfect guard like breath attacks and you like
Yeah.
advance into it. Still like
Yeah. You
that's still
just do
one of the
that nice push in.
that's still
So
one of the
good.
coolest things like I've ever done in a video game is I think it was like a Rathlos or something was breathing fire, and I was just like, "Oh,
That's
I'm
so
fucked,"
good.
and I just hit block out of instinct because I'm a greatsword guy,
Yeah.
and I just caught it, and it like the camera zooms in epically, like right behind you, like over the shoulder as you push into the fire. Oh
Right. Right.
yeah, Monster Hunter Wilds dope game. Like we'll definitely, get I need to go back and play some more of that. I think I might take a break from Death Stranding 2 and maybe load in some Monster Hunter. That sounds like a good time.
Yeah, like you were mentioning and we're picking up on, they did the title update 2, which adds two more monsters and a bunch of other stuff. So absolutely, now is a good time to join in, especially if you haven't even played the title update 1 stuff and seen the new working hub area of the game. Very fun,
Does it
very
work better
cool.
now?
I never had any issues, but yes, I've heard
Yeah, I had
that
issues with
there are
it.
no issues there.
I had
Yeah.
issues with it when it was
I
first
I wasn't in
launched.
it too much, but
I think I did the Mitsusune fight. We did it together, and that was a hard
yes,
fight.
it is. Yeah, it absolutely is. But some very worthwhile hunts in there. And yeah, and then overall in terms of like being a Monster Hunter game and having new monsters and, little kaiju beasties for me to look at, 10 out of 10. Absolutely perfect. Loved it. Great game. But what do you got for your number 3?
My number 3 is also a multiplayer game. Rematch, the
Okay,
soccer
nice.
football game done by Slow Clap Studios. You just want to talk about a mastercraft of hey, there are no stats in this game. Everybody's on an even playing field, which is not something you get in video games anymore. It's all about
Yeah.
like, how can I meta this out? It's all like, can you just be better? And
Yeah.
just the it's just so good. I played so much like this game entered my game of the year list from playing the beta. Granted, I haven't got to play much of it in the actual release. I think I only have like maybe 6 or 7 hours, which is nowhere near where I want to be. I think I had like 15 to 20 in the beta. So like I think I've played a good
Oh,
amount.
damn.
Yeah, I played a lot of the beta. Uh
Yeah.
there I do have some problems with the game. Like there's still some desync issues every once in a while. Nowhere near as bad as it was in the beta. And
Oh, I'm
the
sure. Yeah.
customization could use some work. Like, if you like want to have a beard in the game, you have to unlock it via like like the battle pass and stuff, and the battle pass is a little confusing. But other than that, man, just what a actual sick ass game. Uh Highly recommend. It's cheap to get. It's like 20-30 bucks. And if you got some people to play with, it's some of the most fun you could have. Like I can't play it for long stretches of time because my adrenaline will get too high and my heart rate will get up
Bro,
because I will be in it.
it's so lame, and I feel the same way about playing League. It's the worst, isn't it?
It is because like you know like you'll have like a crazy save and like the timing will be like shooting down as you're
Yeah.
like 1 point behind and you get that goal that ties it and you go into overtime and you manage to overcome them in the last minute after getting dog walked the whole game. 10 out of 10, some of the
You
best
just knew
feelings.
you were better.
Yeah,
That was it.
you just
You were just
you
better.
didn't give up. You were better and you know
Yep.
you beat them because you just outplayed them. Oh, it's
Yep.
just such good feelings. And it's got a
It
really
is.
great community. You know, I haven't had problems with people being toxic, even though I've heard of some of like toxic behaviors online. I haven't encountered that
Oh, really?
luckily. But I mean, I'm really excited to see where this game goes. And Slow Clap has already sold like I think like 2 million copies with it being on Game Pass
Oh, dang.
also. And it's not even crossplay yet,
That's
which is a
wild.
problem. It not being crossplay in the year of our Lord
Oh, okay.
2025
Yeah.
is insane. They say they're working
That
on
should have
it.
been out in the beta.
Yep, they said they're working on it. So hopefully that can, if that releases towards the end of the year, like this game's got legs for days, no pun intended.
Yeah.
But what is your number two, Jarvie?
My number two, and this is kind of where I was uh getting it to clash a little bit, but I think overall this is where I'm gonna land for right now. We'll see where we're at the end of the year, but my number two is also a number two. It is Death Stranding 2.
Ah,
On the beach. Yes.
yeah, I'll go let you know that's my
Amazing
number
game.
one. I think our number ones and twos
Yeah.
are gonna be the same thing mirrored.
Exactly. So we'll probably just join in each other's conversations and talk about them,
So
like right now.
yeah,
I feel.
let me go ahead and spoil my number two, and you tell me if it's your number one. Clair Obscura Expedition
Yeah,
33. Yep, 100%. Yep.
absolutely. Yeah, yeah, and it's kind of like both of our reactions to each of these games individually is like we touch them, and then it's like, okay, this is all I want right now, and that's it. And then with the other one, it's I touch them, and it's like, oh, I didn't know this is what I wanted right now, but yeah, this is exactly it. I kind of feel is how we're doing our ones and twos right now, personally.
Oh yeah, I mean, I was excited for both these games. I didn't. So, uh, we'll go ahead and talk about Death Stranding, because we've talked about it a
Yeah,
lot. Let's just go ahead and knock it out of the way. Death Stranding 2,
yeah,
fucking sick.
it's
I
perfect.
beat it. I loved every second of it. Made me cry multiple times. Uh,
Yeah.
I wish I could have more. That's all.
Yeah, that's exactly it. I haven't beaten it. But I know I'm very near the end, and all I can think is I'm sad to know that there's not like a significant portion ahead of me because that's been so exciting. Is just thinking what is the next thing that I'm going to see in this game, and I it's not like in another game, for example, where what I'm seeing is some crazy, fantastical, like bit of French expressionist painting shooting at me in a insane way. No, I'm seeing like, just something beautifully rendered and presented to me in kind of a puzzly way, like the routes themselves are a puzzle presented to you saying, "Hey, uh this is the problem I put before you. Here are the tools you can use to solve it. Which tools would you like to use?" And then you go.
Yep.
And that makes for a perfect game.
How do you
Like
want to
over
get
and
there?
over and over.
And trust me,
How do you want to get there?
it
Yep.
never gets old. And
It's
once like especially towards like a lot of like I would call them end game deliveries. Like you can access them
yeah.
before the end game, obviously, but like where they're like, hey, you need to get across the map with breakable cargo that will explode if you fucking crash, and you got 10 minutes to do
Yeah.
it. Like,
And they really mean
they
explode.
do mean explode. You have to like figure it out, and you'll get like pursued while you're on the road by like enemies, or run through a
Yeah.
camp or something. Just the different
It
ways they shake up that, just like what
mhm.
could become what became rote in Death Stranding 1. Like, they keep it a lot
Right.
more fresh in this game. Oh, Ruby being bad.
Yeah, I think she was eating some cat food.
Oh, not the cat food.
That's so rude.
They keep it fresh, and really the big thing about this game is the story. Uh
Yeah, it is
emotional
fantastic.
emotional such great total nonsense that is amazing. I love it.
And themes that you will literally never see, you have never seen in a video game, and probably won't again until Death Stranding 3 comes out.
I don't know if they'll do it.
Um,
I hope they do.
oh, my man,
I hope they do.
this is, I think this is a fiver. That is my current call for Death Stranding.
You think I'll get 5 Death Strandings? You think
I
Hideo
think you'll get 5
Kojima
Death
will
Strandings.
live long enough to make 5? Because
Yeah,
he's like in his
that's not
60s, I think. And if it
yeah,
takes
that's
6
totally
years per
reasonable.
game, and he's got 2 other
Well,
games
it
coming out.
probably won't continue to take 6 years per game. And there's some weird stuff going on with OD. I saw its Xbox exclusiveness is on the line with something else. That doesn't matter. That's the horror game with
A bunch
what's
of
her name?
people.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think of the lead actor. She played Bev Marsh in It. Chapter
Oh,
1.
I don't know her name. She was also
She was
like in
in
a
Dungeons and
Sherlock.
Dragons.
Yep. I don't remember. I don't know
It
her
doesn't
name.
matter. She's so good. It's like Lily. There's an L in
I
there.
believe you.
I feel I can't remember her name. Anyways, doesn't matter. But yeah, I think we could get 5. And I don't think it's unreasonable, and I don't necessarily think they're all be Kojima is the other thing. I
Mm.
do think that we are going to see probably within the next decade some Kojima presents coming out of Kojima
Do you think
Productions. You
we
know what I
get the
mean?
Kojima protege? Kind of like
No.
you don't think we're gonna have like the Dragon Ball, like Akira Toriyama kind of hands the reins
I
over to Toyota Taro? Toya,
I think they might try it. I'm not sure. That is a traditionally Japanese thing to do among like really skilled artisans and like craftsmen and stuff. So possibly that might be something he wants to do. But also he's Hideo Kojima and he does whatever he wants. I mean, but if we want to talk about men producing it or people producing fine art into their late ages, like Miyazaki has retired, I think, 4 times now, and every time he gives a fucking banger of a movie.
yeah.
So you could go for a while, especially in a business, I think, where yes, the hours and the mental strain might be a lot on you, but the physical strain maybe not so much. He gets to meet all of his favorite people every day and just be a
Yeah.
big old fucking nerd.
Just-
Hideo Kojima's living the life of life.
He's literally living his best life. He is having a great
Yep.
time.
Yeah.
Do you want to
He
wax?
saw the future he wanted and made it. Okay.
Do you want to wax poetic on Death Stranding 2? I know I just went off on a tangent because it's all I've been thinking about for the past like week and a half.
Yeah. Yes, it is an absolutely perfect game. It is no joke, a 10 out of 10. The only reason it would not be my number 1 is just that Expedition 33 hit me on a very personal level. But Death Stranding 2 is no joke, a truly perfect game that like from gameplay to just literal physical performance and voice performance, every portion of the game is perfectly crafted. It shows off Hideo Kojima as being, the huge film and video game nut that he is. And he is showing all of his like influences creatively and story wise on his sleeve. And I love that. There's less there's so much more metaphor and weirdness in here than you get in Metal Gear Solid, but there's less like metaphor about what he is talking about. Like you don't have to dig for meaning, you just have to dig for understanding, I think. Whereas in Metal Gear Solid, it was very frequently, does this mean anything? No. It's just weird. Whereas in Death Stranding 2, but the first game I think has very good story beats. It's just the second one has way better story beats. In Death Stranding 2, everything is well crafted and pushing towards something else. And even if it seems confusing or weird, like the game's never overwhelmingly so. It is Metal Gear Solid designed in accordance with like David Lynch is what Death Stranding 2 is, and I love it. It's perfect.
Yeah.
It's probably going to be one of, if not my favorite games of all time. But again, I'm just putting it at number 2 to, give the spot to a game that really hit me hard this year. But I know Death Stranding 2 is going to mean more to me over time.
Now, that's a list we should
Yeah.
do. Our top 100
Yeah.
games of all time, but we break it up
Easy.
into
Yeah.
every episode is 10.
Yeah, that could be very fun.
Yeah, because also it would be a lot of introspection. Like I've never like thought about that and like really planned out. Like I know like a lot of my favorite games, but if I had like go like think I need to think of 100. I could get
Yeah,
there.
and then you could get to 100, but the problem is when you get to 101, and 101 is Metal Gear Solid 4, for example, and you're like, how the fuck?
Yeah.
But like, also, I have to put it in there, but it's not like,
What do I take out?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I think that would be a project. I think we should do that. But yeah, so let's talk about your number 1, my number 2, Clair, Obscur,
exactly, and it's kind of cool because
33.
I feel like I got to talk a little bit more about Death Stranding, and now you're gonna get to talk a little bit more about Expedition 33. But we both got them ranked reverse. What a weird, funny thing we did there, Josh.
I knew I knew it was going to happen. I was more scared that our list would be exactly the same. But I was like, once I sat there and thought about it, I was like, okay, I have to put Rematch up there because I was gonna originally Rematch was gonna be an honorable mention, and it was gonna be Monster Hunter Wilds at my 3. But then I just sat there and thought about it and like played a little bit more Rematch. I was like, no, this shit's too good. This shit's just way too good.
Yeah.
So I was scared we would come in with the exact same list. There was like
it was very possible.
Yeah, the coin flip of like any given day. I think these two games could interchange themselves on my list.
Yeah, easy. Yeah.
Clair,
I'll say this. I'm way more likely to platinum one over the other, but I'll let you talk about Clair Obscur Expedition 33 before we talk about that aspect of it.
So yeah, Clair Obscur Expedition 33, just the Frenchiest little RPG you've ever played. It is just such a beautiful game to look at with some of like the best performances in video game history. Like I'm talking up there with your Last of Us, with your other Koji Pro games. Just absolutely, like, this game brought me to tears, and sometimes that was because there was a head that wanted to bounce on me 27 times in a row, and I had to perfect parry each fucking one. But I did it, and we got there. The combat system, they took what a lot of people's like, we're JRPG guys. Like, if this game was a regular turn-based game, I think I would still dug it just as much. But the changes they made with, being able to dodge and having that parry system, like the evolution of that Mario RPG gameplay to like the nth degree. Like you can shoot guns a la Persona 5. You can also, I said jump, you can pass around, like you're accruing these action points that you can manage also by having characters that can pass them around in certain ways. Just I don't know how to tell people this is one of the best games ever made. Like it's crazy that very like rarely do like is there a year that goes by and like you play one of the games and you're like, oh man, this is one of my favorite games of all time. This is a game I will think about for like the rest of my life. And then I got two within a couple months of each other with Claire Obscura.
Absolutely
And
wild.
yeah, like I'll go ahead and tell you, like, future spoiler, like, there's no way Death Stranding 2 and Clair Obscura are not in my top 20 of all time
Yeah,
because
easy.
they are
Yeah.
so good. And just the characters in Clair Expedition 33, Clair Obscura Expedition 33, let me say its full government name,
Mhm.
are just, I love every single one of them.
Mhm.
I wanted to talk to them any chance I got. I wanted every cutscene I could get with them. And when the game was over, I was sad I couldn't have more. Now, granted, there are still some like
Yeah.
the final boss fights. I don't know if you found the secret boss of the game. She is
Oh, yes. So the secret stuff is
the
nuts.
secret boss. I've only ever gotten her about halfway. And after about 4 hours of
I'm not even sure I got her that far.
yeah, like whew, she's rough, rough. But like,
Uh-huh.
uh, I wish I could remember. I can't.
Uh,
Jennifer English, I think, the voice actress
that
of
is
Mayel.
Jennifer English.
You know,
Mhm.
most famously known as Shadowheart from Baldur's Gate 3, just fucking
Perfect. Yep.
delivering. You know, uh,
Just getting such amazing chances to give out these like truly perfect performances and very different performances too. It's not just I mean her voice sounds almost exactly the same
oh
other
yeah,
than younger. But that aside, the performance, the acting of it, is she delivers such great performances in both of those games.
Ben Starr fucking absolutely killing it. Like I felt like most people, I fell in love with
Yep.
Ben Starr with Final Fantasy 16, which I think is also a very beautifully written, awesome game. And
Yeah.
you know, just him with a giving an amazing performance. You know, it could have been he just has a really nice voice. But I think this game also shows like, oh no, he is just that guy. He is
And
actor.
to be given such a not like to create such a narratively complex character is wild.
That gets
Like
more complex as
uh
the game goes on.
exactly. And it was so surprising to me to get introduced to kind of the character who I effectively read as Final Fantasy X's Auron or Cool Alec Baldwin. And I was very wrong. Like
Yep.
and I feel like that vibe is definitely there and it is intentional. This wears the Final Fantasy 7, 8, and 10 on its sleeve.
Oh yeah.
Like there's literally a perfect a Sephiroth shot at one point in the game, and it's so good and so intentionally
And
that, and I loved it.
like not to like make a pun, but in filmmaking there's this idea called every frame a painting, where if you pause a film at
Yeah.
any moment, like that frame should be a work of art. And this game does that, where you can pause this
Yes.
game at any moment. Like this game not having a photo mode is a crime
Wild move.
against humanity. I mean, I get it's a small team, you know,
Yeah, that is
the
fair. That
fact
is
that they
fair.
made
To
one of the best games of all time and it looks as
yeah.
good and plays as good as it does, like I can forgive them, but it's still a crime that I did not have a photo mode that I could just capture something like the most
Yeah.
beautiful designed, rendered, just everything. Not to mention the soundtrack
Mhm.
goes fucking hard in this game. Like when you're like
Yeah.
battling and stuff. Oh, I love
Yep,
it.
it's so good and so varied. Like the soundtrack goes from like honestly metalcore influence to big band jazz influences. And this is within one song. Like I'm not talking a whole bunch of different tracks.
Yeah.
I'm saying we are talking some really cool, really proggy battle music and I absolutely love it. It all slaps. And then also another Baldur's Gate 3 call out, Devora Wild playing I can't remember the sister's name. Uh the sister of
Alicia,
uh yes. Uh what is her name?
Mael's Alicia. Don't go too far into her though, because She's a
But yeah, she well, yeah, but you know, it by now if you haven't played it, it's truly shocking because that game sold so tremendously well.
again. I mean, it's only been out for a couple months. I'd say still, it's a
Uh-huh.
big game, but man, play that game. You need there are just like two of my favorite characters ever now in that game. Their name is our
Yeah.
SK and Minoko. Would fucking die for Minoko. Just like his and Clive, not fucking Clive. Sorry, uh, Ben Starr's character. I keep wanting to say Clive, but that's Final Fantasy 16. Verso. Verso
Yes.
and Minoko's friendships is so
Yeah.
well
It's very
written,
fun.
and some of the like this game made me laugh out loud multiple times. This is not a comedy game. It's just that well
Oh,
written
I
all
disagree.
around.
It absolutely is. It is the game is very funny very frequently.
I would
It's
it is, but
I
I
guess it's
comedy is
not
not.
that it is a comedy game.
Yeah, it had.
It's not its genre.
Yeah, because this game will be heart wrenching. It will be
Oh
badass,
wait.
and it will be some of the funniest shit you've
Yeah,
ever seen.
I guess we haven't really talked about that with Death Stranding 2 either. Because we just kind of want to lavish on it for being so like fundamentally amazing on every dramatic level. The game's so funny. The game is so consistently weird and funny. And it's not just funny because it's weird. It's literally like you save someone from the verge of death and you bring them in from the cold and you get them in on the gurney and you push them away. And as you push them away, the guy, his head just springs up and he shoots you a thumbs up and you get a little like added to your thing. And it's like, there's no reason to do this.
Yeah,
It's you're just being a big old silly bean.
it's just
Like
just
it's so fucking good.
just to make you smile, just a little something.
Exactly. That's it. And both of these games uh are so intentionally designed to make you smile.
Oh yeah,
What a crazy thing for a video game to want to do in 2025, to be fun and to be difficult while being fun. Cuz, Expedition 33 definitely, no matter what we have to say, I can say is it's a difficult game. I know that we were both very good at it, but it is a difficult game. And then Death Stranding 2, we both play on brutal, which doesn't feel very difficult until I do remember that I did just come off playing the other game for 20 hours. And uh, the game will remind you what brutal does feel like
yeah.
sometimes.
Sometimes you'll just get just mad.
Yeah.
A boss will appear and just mash you in the ground real quick. You're like, whoops.
Yep.
Don't know what else to do
Yep.
about that.
Up. Yep. I should have moved a little bit. That is my bad, but I have no one to blame but myself because that's kind of the difficulty thing in Death Stranding too. It's as difficult as you want to make it because you set yourself up.
Yeah, you set
Ugh,
yourself up for failure.
ugh,
You didn't bring
ugh.
things in. There was only one
Exactly.
time like where I went into a fight where I was like, "Oh, I did not realize a fight was coming right the fuck now." And usually you get a
Yeah,
good like
yeah,
heads up, like, "Hey, if you go out there, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, maybe be prepared." And you're like, "Should probably craft a lot of weapons right now."
yeah. I got a good wink, wink, nudge, nudge at one point in the game towards the end. It was not enough of a wink, wink, nudge, nudge. I will say I was pretty prepared. I was not fully prepared for the dicking that Hideo Kojima had prepared for me at that particular station.
Oh yeah, don't worry.
But
There,
yeah,
you got a couple more dickings coming because you got a couple of the hardest
oh, I'm
boss fights
sure.
coming up.
Oh, the boss fights I love. I don't find I'm not gonna say I don't find them difficult. It's just they don't, even if I get like dicked in a boss fight, there's so much fun that I don't get even like a fraction of frustration. But sometimes with like a horde of ghost mechs in the game, it can get a little frustrating when you're just like laying down on the ground and they're shooting you, and you're like, just let me stand up first, please.
Oh yeah, no, no,
Please, I'm
you
already
got
dead,
you
mister.
got more of that coming your way. Is what I'm saying.
Oh yeah. Oh no, that I'm fully prepared for now because I've gotten some facilities upgraded and now I have a good arsenal and the dicking has reversed,
Good,
I will
good.
say. Yep.
So
I love Sam Porter Bridges. He's so good. He's probably one of my favorite characters of all time. I will say that a major story point of the game was almost accidentally spoiled for me by someone uh very early on in the game, like
not
when I
me,
had been maybe 10 hours in the game,
not me.
but I just thought they misunderstood the game.
I'll have to
It
ask
was
you.
not you.
Okay,
No.
let's say not me. I'll have to ask you about that once we get off
Nope.
recording.
Yes, I will immediately tell you afterwards. Remind me to just tell you about what they said.
Okay.
I was gonna allude to it, but it was like literally any illusion spoils it. So
So I've been keeping track of the points. Now, granted, we didn't have a large pool to pull from, since we only limited ourselves to 3 games, since we're only about the halfway point.
right,
Uh,
yeah.
so we ended up with 4 games total, all ties.
That's
So
so funny.
tied for last place are Rematch and Monster Hunter, both with 1 point, and tied for first place
Okay.
are Death Stranding and Clair Obscura, both with 5
Yeah,
points.
it's we taskmastered it,
Yep, we did.
in some way. We fucked up our our opener, but when it really came down to the final task of the show, we brought it together.
Yeah.
So it came out all weird and tied up.
And I think at the end of the year, this will be a much different list because I think we're going to shoot for 10, which I
Yes.
think is very doable.
Yeah. Well, we have Switch 2s by then. Well, I have. You probably will.
I,
I said I was holding out for the Dusk Bloods.
which would be next
I
year.
think you will. Yeah, I
I
think is that next
really
year?
want to play Donkey Kong
It
Bonanza.
is. That's the other one for me, but it's not enough of a love for me to like dedicate budget wise to dedicate anything towards it. Like even no matter how much I have, I still just look at it and I say, if I have $1 million and I spend how much is it? 500,
600,
550 if I want a game?
something like that.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Okay, so if I have all of that
500,
money and I
500.
spend $500 on something that I get 20 hours, 20 to 30 hours out of, I'm going to be very disappointed. So I need significant reason to get the Switch 2. Like I'm thinking I need 150 plus hours. So Donkey Kong Bonanza's not going to get me there. Donkey Kong Bonanza and Mario Kart World? No, we're still not there. I need a couple more. Let's see what they got.
Yeah. I mean, that, like I said, I was right there and did not buy it.
Yeah,
And like I could have
that's fair.
totally done it. If they do a Donkey Kong bundle, so I could honestly,
I could see that getting you.
I could give 2 shits about Mario Kart. I've never been a Mario Kart guy. So no, like I think the most fun I've had playing Mario Kart was when you and me and Nick played it like a couple weeks ago.
Yep. Yeah, I was thinking that too. And I was thinking this would be great if it was the new Mario Kart. That was definitely in my head. Like I know we would be having just slightly more fun if it was the new Mario Kart, but that was not a $500 thought.
Yeah, no, it was not. So I have, before we go on to our recommendations, I have 2 sort of categories, but kind of questions, kind of make you think a little bit.
Yes,
I don't know if I gave these to you in advance or not, so we're about to find out. So first, I
yes.
want to know, what's the game that you missed so far this year, but you really want to play? While
Ooh,
while you think on it, I can go ahead and give you 2 of mine.
yeah, go ahead.
First is a game called Despelote, which is a little. I actually own it. I have it on Steam. I just haven't got around to it. It's a little indie game about uh being a kid during like I think like the 80s or 90s when like it was either I think Argentina or
Oh,
something. I can't remember the country, but like a South American country. It's their first time going to the World Cup, and it's about experiencing
yeah.
like that world. And it's done like this cool little art style, and you kick a little soccer ball around because you're a kid, but like the whole time, like you're like listening to what the adults are talking about, like actual matches are playing in the background, and people are reacting to it. And it sounds like a really nice, like little experience. I think I'll love because like I love things that are all about reminding you of what like that childlike wonder is. This is what that game is about.
Yeah.
And my second one is actually Dune Awakening. Uh, so
Oh, okay.
the
Interesting choice for you.
yeah, so Dune is like one of those things where I love the movies. I've tried reading the books. I know I need to actually go and finish them. I say that all the time and still haven't. Uh, but this game, I was like, oh, it's a survival crafting game. Like, I don't know if I care that much. But I've been like seeing some gameplay of them, like, oh, kind of like it's a survival crafting game, but like removes all the annoying parts of survival crafting out. Yeah, you're going through and like having to get your materials and like water is a thing, but you have a still suit. So once you get your first still suit, which they give you pretty early, water is less of a concern. And like
Yeah.
it keeps the fun parts of the survival games and like kind of dims down like the parts that get in your way. And the constructing
Yeah.
your house looks pretty fun. And it's not just like you're building a wooden shack. You're like actually building like your like I don't know what they call it, blast steel or whatever. I think it's Star Wars. Like
Yeah. I don't remember what it is in
whatever
there
those are,
at
and
all, actually.
and like the story is like we live in a world where Paul Atreides didn't exist because Jessica, obeyed the Bene Gesserit and had a daughter instead of Paul Atreides, and she saw the future, and now it's like the Atreides family and the Harkonnens are at war over Arrakis, and you like pick your
Yeah.
side, and I'm like, oh, that actually sounds like a cool game, like kind of log on and like do some things and like
Yeah.
a good little like background grinding game.
No, it looks pretty sick, to be honest. Like, and it got, I would say, like relatively good reviews. Like, a lot of people, or a lot of the uh qualms with it, just concerned that it doesn't necessarily have the same sort of lastingness that these other survival games do. But that's not necessarily what I would want out of a, in a more streamlined version of a survival game, or rather a more fun version of a survival game.
Yeah,
I don't want it to be 200
yeah, you
hours.
can go
I
in
would
and
like
just
a
do the story.
50-hour game.
Yeah, that sounds
Yeah.
better.
I would I would like a 50-hour game that I then log on with, yeah, like you were saying, with my friends. Yeah, maybe we might have to take a look at this one together at some point, because that does actually sound like a lot of fun, and I bet it could be fun, uh, co-op wise as well.
Oh yeah,
And that's kind of where my games I missed are sitting as well. You're ready to get over to
yeah.
those.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so mine are two very similar games. Both are co-op games with uh proximity chat, weird little cute customizable guys, and are best played with 4 players. So my two like games I missed, you know, and I'm sad about it. Well, how did you phrase it? Why is this so hard for me to phrase?
Games you missed and want to play still.
Games you miss and want to play still. I just couldn't think of how to say it. Repo and Peak. Repo, if you don't know what Repo is and you're listening to this, that's absolutely wild. The game is everywhere. But effectively, you play some South Park Canadian little dudes
Little
that go
beans.
in and their heads go flap up
Yeah,
and down.
with
That
your
is
with
exactly
as
what
you
they look like.
speak. So I've played Repo. Repo
Yeah.
is pretty fun with a group.
Yeah.
Uh, just the
Um,
way it messes with like how you talk. Like you can pick up things
yeah.
that slow down your voice or change the pitch against your will. There's some funny
Yep.
stuff in that game.
There's monsters that'll make you just constantly vomit or turn you into their little thralls. It's a kind of a horror game, but mostly it's a comedy game about repossessing a bunch of stuff from semi iconic, or rather like Costco brand versions of iconic settings of fantasy and sci-fi places. It's very cute, very fun. It's a very streamable game, and I've enjoyed watching like the McElroys and some others play it a lot. The other one is Peak. This is more recent. This is a climbing game, and basically there's just 4 biomes that you are going through of your team of little climbing guys, and those little climbing guys are just trying to get through those 4 biomes of climbing places to get to a mountain to be climbing it. That's it. Like you pick up treasure and you grab stuff to make it easier, and then you get back out and you put on things to customize yourself. Again, very similar to R.E.P.O, proximity chat, crazy little randomized runs. Uh, this one specifically has a new island every day. So every day you log in, you will have a new randomized island. But when you keep playing on one day, you will consistently get that same island so you can learn to master it, which I think is a very cool thing to do on the randomized run aspect of it. But yeah, those are two very similar games that I very much want to play and are very much up my alley. But for some reason, I just haven't gotten around to.
I haven't played Peak yet. I know some people have been trying to get me to play it, but I can only do so much of those types of games after a while. Like there's a certain
See,
part of our
I
friend group that
figured
only
since it was
plays those
about
games.
climbing and moving stuff, you'd be really into
Oh, because
it.
of Death Stranding.
Yeah, yeah. He loves walking.
I
I know that about him. I don't know much
Does he
else.
like to climb though? All right.
He likes when men in helmets go to sleep.
Oh,
That's kind of his favorite genre of video games. I don't know what that
I
means.
do love that. I do love that.
You do.
All right, now pick one game that's coming out this year that you are most excited for.
You got to go first. I got to look at a list again real quick. We have this list open most of the time. We found some pretty nifty and useful things for, research and reference during this, but for some reason I decided to sabotage myself and close the list. So, give me your game that you're
So
excited for.
this
I
one,
have one on deck, but I don't want to
this one's
just
hard.
say it
This one's
and miss
hard for
something
me.
else.
So I wrote down
Yeah.
like 5 games that I'm like I
Okay, cool.
really want to play, and picking one of them is really difficult, especially when I've played demos for 2 of them and I really fucked with both of them really hard. But I think I'm gonna go with
Yeah.
Mina the Hollower as what I'm most
Oh,
looking
okay.
forward to.
Yeah.
I played the
It's a
demo
good
and
choice.
it's from the Shovel Knight people. It's that Legend of Zelda Game Boy Color era gameplay, which is my era of Zelda. And I just kind of find myself wishing I could just go play that game right now.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. Mm,
also Hades 2 1.0, if that comes out this year, would also be up there.
I think it is very possible we will be hitting that this year. I think it is more likely we will be seeing it next year.
Question. So Haley, I mean, we've been playing Hades
Yes.
2 for about almost a year now, but technically it
Yes.
comes out fully this year. Is that Could that be in the does that meet for game of the year? Could that be in game of the year? How does that work for us?
So you could absolutely put it in your game of the year so far, but like for me, I if I were to do it, it would have to be because I was playing it this year. Like some big update happened. Well, we have already had the Ares update this year.
Mhm.
But I only played it a little bit, so it didn't even like enter my consideration
Right.
actually.
I'm waiting for if the 1.0 comes out this year, like I'm dropping everything I'm
Yeah.
doing. I'm starting a fresh save. I don't care that I've already
I
beat
did re-download
Chronos.
for something recently. They did some pretty significant stuff. I can't quite remember. But yeah, I actually did. Speaking of, coincidentally, like yesterday, I had just re-downloaded Hades 2. So I am the opposite of you. I kind of jump on every time I get a new update.
Oh yeah, no, I'm waiting for that 1.0 now. I'm like, I just need the whole thing. I need to
Yeah,
lose myself in this
very fair.
game for a while and just have a good time.
I did restart the run, I will say. I completely wiped it uh just to see what it felt like from,
From scratch.
going in fresh right now, how the game presents itself, which on initial release it was already so good. Like
Y-
as an unfinished product, it was so well polished.
Yeah,
And then every major update just like doubled the game in size and complexity.
you could have told me that that was a completed game and I would have believed you.
Yeah, yeah, easy. So I've consulted the lists. I've come back from the mountain, and the oracles have told me what horrors are going to be inflicted upon my wallet in the next 6 months. And I think the horror that I would most like to feel right now is the Outer Worlds 2, a game where number one was such a good first game. Uh, it just had very great first game feelings. It also has very good Fallout and specifically Fallout New Vegas feelings. And then looking at everything from the game, especially all the stuff we saw in the Xbox showcase very recently. One of our slightly less watched episodes. So if you're listening to this, go back and listen to or watch that episode, please. It was a good one. We put a lot of love and funny sassiness into that one. So please go back. Anyways, Outer Worlds 2. Yeah, it looks really great. I love the faults, the perks, the everything about it. The game itself, like the setting of the Outer Worlds is, it's classic not BioWare.
Want to get there?
Wait, yeah, sorry. Yeah, no, it's classic BioWare into Obsidian is what I was getting to.
Bethesda into
But like,
Obsidian?
no, BioWare.
Think BioWare?
I'm yeah, well, originally, I mean like Fallout. But yeah, Fallout 3 was when Bethesda did it, and like that's kind of where they're going off from. But I just mean like the overall feel is like that classic BioWare game of like everything's a little kooky and weird. And I really like it. You don't get those computer RPGs very much anymore outside of Baldur's Gate 3, which is obviously a well-loved game around the pixel picking parts. But yeah, Outer Worlds 2, very exciting. And it also the gameplay itself, like the gunplay and the weird science weapons look fucking awesome.
Yeah, that was one that was on my like list of 5.
Yeah.
There's a lot
Did,
I'm excited for.
did you have 2 games on that list of 5 that start with the words Ninja Gaiden? Because I probably would.
I only have one.
Oh, okay.
I'm not very Ninja Gaiden 4 looks really cool to me. I've never
Oh,
played
it's just
any.
that it's platinum.
Okay, yeah.
That's it.
That
is what has sold me.
I never played any of the other ones. Like I didn't never the none of the Black series. Yeah. I've thought about
You would
going
not
back
like
and
them.
I wouldn't.
I don't think that you would vibe with their gameplay. They are pretty solid. They're very very good character action RPGs, or not even RPGs, but character action games. Like Devil May Cry, but they don't have any sort of difficulty setting. At least not to my recollection. I don't think they ever added that in Black. And the game is actually unfairly difficult in some boss fights and stuff, at least in my opinion. Now that being said, when you vibe with the game, Dark Souls style, it clicks and it becomes your absolute shit. Ninja Gaiden used to be in the Xbox 360 era, before people were talking about Demon Souls and Dark Souls eventually. Ninja Gaiden was kind of a test. Or I guess, yeah, the first one came out on the Xbox, didn't it?
OG Xbox, yeah, Ninja Gaiden Black.
Yeah. So that was in that era, that was kind of one of the testing games of like, get good and fucking beat Ninja Gaiden. It's like, it's so hard. So unforgivingly hard.
Yeah.
But Ninja Gaiden 4 looks really sweet, and I genuinely think Platinum can do no wrong. I don't think they've ever had a game from them that I did not at least enjoy, in a
they had that
7.5 out of 10.
They had that what was that one game called? Well, first of all, they had the Korra game, or I think it was Korra or Avatar, that wasn't very good. And then they had their own Destiny, like it was like Atlas Fall or something or like that. Babylon's Fall.
Oh yeah, I guess I just mean the
You haven't played any of their good games that you don't like. Like
no,
Transformers
I guess I
Devastation
just
slaps.
mean the ones that are all made by the
A-Team.
Boy, I can't think. Yeah, the A-Team, like your Sudas, your I can't think of who works on Nier. What is his name?
Toyotaro? Nope, fuck, that's Dragon Ball.
Yoko Taro. I was like,
I knew Taro was in there.
I was like, those big ones. They're specifically their character action games is what I'm talking about. they don't miss there. Yeah, I'm looking like they also do licensed games. I have to assume those are like
Some
probably a different team.
they have like a B team that does like Korra and
Yeah,
stuff.
it's interesting.
Transformers Devastation though, very low budget game.
I think I missed that one.
Sick as hell. I think it's delisted now, unfortunately. But like
Yeah,
you would be
that happens
you'll be
with
like
games like that.
Optimus Prime, you'll be like fighting and you're like doing full ass like mid air combos, like launching in the air, fighting them in the air, turning into your truck mid air as part of your move set to like drift off on them. That game's
I
sick.
know I played a very good Transformers game of this era. I just don't know if it was Devastation, and if it was, that would be cool to find out that it, retroactively find out that that was a platinum game.
If it was a third person shooter, it was this
Eh,
Cybertron series.
Oh, PS4. Nope. This is to. Or wait,
Are you
what
thinking
was this on?
PS4, Xbox One? It was that era. Yeah. They gave it away on
Was
PlayStation
it?
Plus, and that's how I played it back in the day.
Okay. Oh, but it did come out on PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360
I,
originally,
I
apparently.
oh, did it? Yeah, I didn't
Huh.
know.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a cool game.
I'm just looking at it. No, I did not play this game. It does look cool as hell. No, the one I played looked definitely way more real. This is straight out of the 80s cartoon, and I
Yes,
would like it a lot
it's like
more.
a straight G1
Also, it looks like they
continuation.
got the they got the voice cast as much as they could.
Yeah,
That's really dope.
I think you're thinking Fall and
I
War of Cybertron. The
War sounds very familiar.
yeah, third person
I
shooter all takes place on Cybertron. They're pretty cool. They were cool games.
Wait, is Transformers secretly one of your things? We do not talk about Transformers.
No,
very
Transformers is
frequently,
not
but you
secretly
are
one of my
kind of,
things.
I don't know, you're kind of revealing some knowledge here.
I just know a lot about video games and a lot about nerd culture. I watched
That's
Beast
fair.
Wars growing up, and I've read some of like the Robert Kirkman run that's going on right now for like the
Okay.
comics and stuff.
So not even like around. Oh, yeah, yeah. Okay. Yeah, we've had this conversation as well. And also with G.I. Joe. But I have a little more fondness for G.I. Joe because they are more silly and gay overall, and I like that about
Yeah,
them.
my touchstone for GI Joe was like they did a back in the day. This will actually very well segue to my recommendation. So let's move
Oh,
on to that.
good.
Let's move on to
Good.
that. So hey,
That's
we're
perfect.
we're at the Pixel Pickers podcast. We like to end every podcast with a non-video game recommendation, but I'm going to flex that a little bit if you'll allow it. And if not, I have a backup recommendation on deck.
Well, to be fair, last week my recommendation was the soundtrack for the game we played, so I think I will not allow yours. Judgment stance.
But
All
it,
right,
but,
yeah,
it makes
please
my
go ahead.
segue work. We do it.
Oh,
So
all right, all
yeah,
right.
we do a non-video game recommendation. This could be books, movies, music, television show, whatever. So let me go and tell you my touchstone for GI Joe. Back in the day, it wasn't Toonami, but on like Cartoon Network, they were doing this lead up to like showing the GI Joe animated movie. And I should know this man's name. He's like the famous drill instructor from like Full Metal Alchemist, not Full Metal Jacket. Full Metal
No, I'm
Jacket.
pretty sure he's in Full Metal Alchemist.
I would love him.
Do you want me to say his name, or do you
Yes,
want me to
please.
hint at his
Yeah,
name?
no, say his name.
R.E.P.O.
Arlie Ermy? Harley?
R
R
R like it
R like a
R
pirate?
period and then middle name. Yeah. R
R.
Lee or me.
Okay, yeah. So it was like he was hosting this. Like the commercial segments would take like he would take you out of the show, and then he would bring you back in, and you would go into the movie. And that was
Yeah.
my touchstone for GI Joe. That and like the very early like YouTube videos where people would like redub old GI Joes. Like the little infomercials they would do back in the day, like the public safety, like
Yeah,
don't
those are
touch
sweet.
electrical wires that are on the ground. That was my touchstone for like GI Joe, was like that Toonami era. But my recommendation for this week, TikTok kind of got me a nostalgia chokehold. Toonami used to do video game reviews. I don't know if you remember this. I assume you were from the same era of Toonami as me, like 1999, maybe
OG.
yeah, like upwards of 2000s, maybe 2007-ish.
Yep, OG Steve Bloom Steve.
Yep. Tom was his name.
Sorry, I said Steve twice.
Yeah, you did. Uh, they
Steve lose steam.
they would do video game reviews, and they wouldn't do a lot of M-rated stuff later on because apparently they kept doing this until like the PS3 era where Toonami got a little
Oh,
bit more not adult but a bit more grown up
yeah.
with what they were showing anime wise and what they would talk
Samurai
about.
Champloo was on.
Yeah. Uh, but they would do video game reviews like, I remember all of them talking about Spider-Man 2 back when it came out, the movie game, but like they were doing this like on the PlayStation 1, like they were reviewing Final Fantasy 7, Final Fantasy 10, and I've been kind of going down the rabbit hole of watching these old like reviews they would do on
That's
a
fun.
commercial break. And look, I'll tell you right now, they're kind of spot on. Like
Really? That's
Toonami,
awesome.
they kind of had the sauce. They're like, they'll even say like, "Hey, it might be a conflict of interest, but we're reviewing Dragon Ball Z Budokai, and it's not the best fighting game in the world, but it's cool to look at sometimes. 6 out of 10." And
Yeah.
you're like, "Yep, that's spot on. You nailed it." And like giving like Final Fantasy 10 like an 8 or something like that. It's just like a really cool time capsule, and I highly recommend, especially if you grew up with it with Toonami, to go
Yeah.
back and look at these old reviews, like a YouTube video or on TikTok or something, which is how I've been absorbing them. So I will save my backup recommendation then.
I mean, if you want to let it out, I'll go ahead and let you free. But also, if you want to, keep your light under a bushel, go ahead and hide it.
I think I'll keep it just because we're already running a little long.
Yeah, go ahead, smother that light. You do unite. All right. So for my recommendation, Josh decided to go for something retro and nostalgic, and I've been doing like older stuff as well. So I was like, I'm gonna do something that's on the air right now and like is not like a throwback or something to my childhood, like a very modern show. So I went with The Simpsons.
Oh,
Uh
kind of ruined my joke I was
defying
gonna
all
make.
the odds. What were you gonna
I
say?
was gonna say, I mean, it really depends. Somebody could be listening to this 20 years from now, and this, it's no longer current. But man, I guarantee you, Simpsons will still be running 20 years from now.
It'll still be going. We will be dead in 20 years. We will have been double conscripted back into the Navy and lost into the Time Wars. It's just how it's gonna go. But somehow Matt Groening will still be producing The Simpsons
Yeah,
for
the
Fox.
the fucking Matt growing in a fucking head in a jar, still making The Simpsons.
Yeah, yeah, he will be the first one, and no one will understand the irony somehow. No one will comment on it. It's gonna be really weird. But yeah, The Simpsons. I don't really need to do the log line for The Simpsons, but I absolutely will. Homer Simpson is not your run of the mill dad. He's kind of a wacky, crazy guy, and he's a bit of a doofus. See, Homer works at a nuclear power plant in Springfield. Springfield's a nice little town that's just everywhere America. He comes home every day to his wife Marge, a blue-haired Betty Buffont, a lovely homemaker, and mother to 3 rowdy kids. Oldest of the children is Bart Simpson, a real wild
I don't
child.
think you need to wax
Bart
this
is a
hard on describing the Americana to everybody.
it's so
I was
good.
waiting for you to
Anyways,
like spin this into something like,
I
oh no, he's gonna do the
I
whole
was
thing.
literally going to go until I got braked, and you let me go so much longer. I thought I would get halfway through talking, like saying Homer Simpson, until you stopped me.
Yeah,
Anyways, I love The Simpsons. I grew up on it. A lot of people of my age have. A lot of people of my age were also forbidden from watching The Simpsons, which is wild to me because The Simpsons is a very like deeply moralistic and like righteous show. Not in any sort of negative way, but it just shows you like everything that Bart and Homer does that is wrong, they get punished for. Like, and that's the best part about the show is it shows you wrong behavior and it says, well, when they do the wrong behavior, we will strike down upon them like the vengeful cartoon gods we are.
we will
Uh
strangle this child.
Simpsons, we will strangle the child, we will hit the man on the head with an anvil. Uh it exists best described in a rubber band reality. That's the catchphrase that was used a lot in the Simpsons commentaries that I was a frequent listener to in high school. That's right. I was a cool guy and I was buying the Simpsons DVD box sets in high school exclusively to listen to the commentaries on some of my favorite episodes like Itchy and Scratchy Land. You know, shout out to season 6 box set. Such a good one. Seriously, I love The Simpsons. It is one of my all-time favorites. To me, when people say they don't like it, I feel like they probably haven't seen the right things, or maybe they just don't like comedy. Like, if you are a person that does not enjoy comedy, that would be the reason that you don't like The Simpsons, or if you don't like animation. Those are the two reasons that I'm like, yeah, I get it. If you can't watch animated things, or you literally don't like to laugh, you will not like The Simpsons. Barring those two things, it is quite possibly the greatest piece of like American television, or just frankly television, ever made. There's a lot of shit out there now just because The Simpsons have lasted so long, but even through all of the bad seasons, even in some of the worst episodes, you can still probably find a quotable joke. My brain is almost exclusively Simpsons quotes, and I'm just going to leave off on a recommendation for one episode, and I'm going to put like a recommendation for 5 episodes in the show notes. But I would just say my big recommendation would probably be Cape Theory. It looks like it's written Cape Fear with an E. It's pronounced Cape Theory. If you know, you're stupid. But anyways, watch that one. That's an all-timer. But I'll put some other recommendations down there as well.
So,
I absolutely love The Simpsons.
can I break your heart?
You
I
don't like it?
no, I didn't say that. I never watched
Oh,
The
okay.
Simpsons growing up. Like, my
Okay.
parents
Yeah.
didn't watch The Simpsons, so it was never on in my house. Not for any like
Right.
moralistic reasons. I just never watched it. Like the first time I saw The Simpsons was watching the Simpsons movie on like fucking
Yeah.
FX back in the day, and I was like, this is pretty funny.
I
But the
I
show was
I
all
heard that pretty frequently.
yeah, but the show was only like what Fridays at 7. They didn't play it anywhere else really until FX bought the rights way later on. But I didn't.
Exactly. It was a very oddly syndicated show.
Yeah,
You had to buy the DVDs if you really wanted to watch it.
yeah.
So you had
So
to be a big fan.
I had never really seen it other than that movie. I watched the movie. I was like, that's pretty funny. Never caught it like new episodes or anything. And then like you would always hear like, oh, it's show stops being good after season 372, so don't watch it anymore. And you're like, okay,
Yeah.
whatever. And then you just don't feel like doing it. It's like the reason a lot of people don't watch One Piece is too long. But
Yeah. Yep.
when we were on the ship together, I think either you or somebody had Simpsons on one of the hard drives
It,
and would just play on one of the
yeah, it's
TVs. And
definitely mine.
during COVID, when we were like locked up in our offices, I ended up like the person I was on like duty with he would just put the Simpsons on, and I'd listen to 8 hours of Simpsons while I was working. And, I'd sit there and laugh
Yep.
every once in a while, and it is really good. And about a year or so ago, I put like the second season on randomly on Disney Plus while Kenzie and I were just my wife and I were just hanging out, and she ended up burning through like 2 or 3 seasons in like a week.
Yeah.
And
And it
the old episodes like they hold up joke wise, and we went and
they
rewatched the
they
movie.
do.
Still holds up. Sideshow Bob, I think, was like my character. I thought was really funny. It was just the
Yes.
him with the rakes joke. I don't know why. It's such a dumb
That
joke.
is
It makes me laugh all the
that is
time.
a joke from the episode I recommended as well,
Oh,
actually.
is
That
it?
is from season 5, episode 2, Cape Fear.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think
that is a Sideshow Bob episode.
that's the season we actually had during the COVID. Like seasons like I think we had 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and they were just kind of like on
Yep.
loop. So I think that's the one I saw.
Yep.
But
That
that joke got me so good. I don't know why. It's not even a good joke.
it's so
It's
good.
just dumb. Yeah.
It's good. Well, okay. Now I gotta flex, not even flex, but just like bring out my little bit of Simpsons knowledge. Kelsey Grammer, that specifically when Sideshow Bob, I gotta do the whole setup for the joke. He comes out and he's just walking away. His whole plans are going to hell. He's just a clownish man trying to kill Bart Simpson. And he walks away. And he steps on a rake and he makes a noise, kind of like. You. And Kelsey Grammer hated making this noise, but it was kind of a signature Sideshow Bob noise. So the next thing that they have happen is Sideshow Bob walks up, steps on a rake, and goes, "Yeah." And then the camera pulls out, and you see there's 50 rakes around him, and he continues to step around like two more. Every time he steps on a rake in this episode, they had Kelsey Grammer record a new one instead of just using the same recording over and over. They were in studio and being like,
Just to fuck
"Yeah,
with
we
them.
just need another Kelsey, another. Thank you, Kelsey." So good.
That makes the joke even funnier.
Yep,
That's pretty good.
absolutely.
But
But yeah, I love The Simpsons, man.
but I think we can't run as long as the Simpsons, so I think we're gonna have to kind of cut it off here. We ran almost as long as our Death Stranding episode somehow. Most of it was us just dicking around, talking about how cool video games are. It's
Exactly.
very hard to stay on
It was a
topic.
good, exactly. A nice wrap up for the first half of a year, and kind of the first half of a year of podcasting for us. Very fun, very unique, and rambly as it always will be.
And you think we get better at it. You'd think.
No, no, I wouldn't think at all. Obviously.
But I think we should wrap this episode up. So Jarvis, just so for all of you who are still listening, thank you so very, very much. You can, as always, find us
Yes.
here on the YouTubes. And if you want to see more of our episodes, hey, subscribe, hit that subscribe button, hit the bell to be notified when these posts. We usually post on Tuesday mornings, is what I try to aim for, unless life gets in the way. But mostly Tuesday, pretty solid time to catch
Yeah.
the new episodes. If you enjoy the podcast, do leave a like, tell your friends about it, and down in the comment section below, please tell me about what your game of the year so far is. Did we even mention your game? Because there was a lot of games we did mention. One that I was surprised you didn't mention was Blueprint. I thought that might end up on your list.
That was gonna be possibly an honorable mention, but it lost out to blowing apart demons with a shotgun. Sorry, brain, you lost again, dumbass.
The brain always loses in the end.
Yeah, there's no way it's gonna beat Doom.
Yeah, so please tell us why we're the stupidest people because we didn't fully understand the masterpiece of Blueprints, and
Yeah,
instead
it's
picked
good. It's
kicky
fine.
kicky sports ball game and shooty shooty games. But other than that, Jarvis, can you take us out of here, please?
Yeah, it's dangerous to go alone. Take us. Bye.
Bye.